So the iPhone 3G has been great. And that's why I'm really excited to tell you about an entirely new version, the iPhone 3GS. Now the S simply stands for speed, because this is the most powerful, fastest iPhone we've ever made.
Good evening everyone, and welcome back to another video. We're going to have another nostalgic trip today. As you can see from the intro just there, it is the iPhone 3GS that we are going to be looking at today. So basically here it is, without further ado. I picked this up off Facebook. So initially I was wanting a old original first generation iPhone. They are far and few between to start with. You cannot pick up a decent one without paying another £300 or £400 if it comes with the box, and some of them even go higher than that from what I've seen on the listings. So basically what I wanted to do was kind of start a collection of the older devices. As you can probably see behind me, there is an iPod Touch first generation. That is a video coming soon, so keep your eye out for that. But yeah, today we're going to have a look at this old baby. So yeah, the iPhone 3GS initially was the 3G without the S, and the S stood for speed in Apple's case. They basically wanted the 3G capabilities from the last gen with some quicker hardware refinements in terms of application power, video processing, etc, etc, as Apple tend to do. So yeah, initial story with this is I looked online, I looked on eBay, looked on Facebook. There were many manner of listings. Quite a few of them looked quite enticing. A couple of them looked really old and worn and battered, and I kind of really wanted a nice condition one. And I actually stumbled across this gentleman in his, probably I'd say about 60s to 70s. He was selling it as his old phone, and I could see the picture of it. It said it had the box, it said it had everything with it. I think just the cable wasn't original, but I have an original cable anyway. So there was the box, the phone, and there was a leather case with it, but obviously I took the case off. And I said, okay, I'll come and get it on the date I agreed. And I was kind of skeptical, thinking this is going to be damaged in some way. I only paid £40 as well. It was unlocked. It had every firmware update. I think it had the latest firmware update, I think he told me. So he'd updated it. So I got there, and basically he gave me the box. He said, oh, we can take a look at it before we have a look. Obviously I unboxed it like I am now, and what I found was a insanely immaculate iPhone 3GS. I kid you not. Look how clean. Look how beautiful that is. There are some marks on the back, as you can see. You've probably seen the light there. There's just a couple of probably handprints. But overall, I mean, if I wipe that, overall, I mean, that could even be cleaner. It's not bad at all. I mean, that is a really stunning design, even by today's standards. I actually really miss Apple's old kind of candy bar designs. So I mean, I looked at it, I was, oh my god, this is immaculate. I was kind of like in awe, and he was talking to me about how he's used it like very little, kept it in its case, and I was just shocked. I was like, that's fantastic. And I kind of just handed in the money, but we were talking for a while, and he was such a nice gentleman. Honestly, he was really like kind with letting me know what he's done with it, how it's been. We open it up further, just flown out there. Still has the original SIM card holder. We have the instruction manual book. There's the original kind of, I'm guessing this was like a faceplate when they were unboxing it. The Apple stickers in all their glory, still intact. Not that I ever use them, but it's nice to just kind of have them, I guess. The original, if I can get the case out, the original important product guide information book. I'm sure there was one called Fingertips in the older iPhones, from what I've seen, which was nice to see. Also, there is a brand new set of original Apple headphones. Do you remember these guys? These are a throwback themselves. I mean, this is like iPod Touch era for me because I never owned an iPhone up until a 6. The iPhone 6 was my first iPhone. But these headphones, I always found them extremely comfortable. And they were such a good listening experience growing up. I had countless hours with these in my ears and they never gave me issues. I mean, AirPods are good. I have my AirPods, but you just couldn't stack up to these. But again, some people would kind of argue against that. They might think that these weren't that good, but for me, I think these are probably peak Apple headphone quality. But yeah, that's just a nice thing to kind of discover when I was unboxing it. Whether I'll use them or not is a different thing. I might just keep them as is for sentiment's sake. But so I'm absolutely besotted with that, guys. When I unboxed that, I mean, £40. That's quite a steal, I guess. I mean, yeah, it's an old phone. I know people thinking it's not worth much, but like for collectors out there, me included, I'm just trying to like build a collection of these kind of old devices. When you find something of that price for what you're looking for, it really is remarkable. So anyway, enough jabbering. What I'll do, I'm going to turn it on and we'll have a little look back at some of the old iPhone 3GS features. Just really shows how far we've come in terms of like the size. I'm using my iPhone to record this, so I couldn't exactly compare, but I think you get the idea of the size difference with our current gen of phones. It just makes you wonder how far we've come and how much we do take for granted. But yeah, I just can't get over this design. It's such a small, petite, classy, like beautiful, that silver edge kind of like smoothing into the back candy shell kind of part. There we go, guys. Remember this screen? You can't beat the original slide to unlock, which takes a while to load, guys, because it is an old iOS, but it will unlock eventually. It will unlock eventually. There we go. It's because there's some apps on there. So here we go. There's the old home screen. It's asking for my Apple ID. I'm not going to enter that right now. I have had this out and I have used it and tested it. I've just had it boxed away until I've done this video. So here we are. We've got the original camera app, the weather app, the stocks, the old iMessage symbol, which iMessage works. It works still. I was messaging my partner on my iPhone 12 Pro Max and the messages were coming through on this because I had my Apple ID signed in. So it works, is what I'll say. It definitely works. I can vouch for that. The message feature still works. I mean, if you're planning to get an iPhone 3GS or even an older iPhone and you want to use it as like a daily, if you've got Wi-Fi, because I'm not sure that the 4G or 3G on this phone will work, your Wi-Fi, it will enable you to use iMessage, so that works. Let's go on camera. Look at the quality difference. But the camera works fully. There we go. And if I go onto the picture, works perfect. I think weather doesn't work anymore. It's the only thing, because I'm not sure if the service is any different. Yep, local weather unavailable. I am on the Wi-Fi, so it should work, but some of the features will not work, being like the older iOS. I think this one's running 6.1. So I'll go into settings. I'll show you around the settings. General, about, 6.1.6. So this is the latest firmware that the 3GS could actually have, basically. 6.2 gigabytes. So this is the 8 gigabyte model, I believe. Yep, 8 gigabyte. So you only got 6.2 capacity once the firmware or OS was taking up most of the space. You probably wouldn't survive on that nowadays, to be fair, with the amount of photos and videos we have. But yeah, again, just another measure of how far we've come. There's the old settings screen, just to show some of you guys what it did look like, or if you had one, what it looked like and you remember. Display and brightness. It was a very simplified but like familiar interface was the iPhone. I think that's why people kind of like engaged with it so well and kind of like adopted its use so quickly, is because people felt familiar around this interface. As much as it's new, it was something quite familiar to do, like to use. We'll go into the iTunes store. I'm not going to go so in depth with this, guys, but I'll just flick through a few things just to show you. See what's what. I'm going to put Dead Mouse because I like listening to Dead Mouse. I do believe the feature to buy music still works, so if you've got your iTunes linked onto this account and a card that works, I believe it will actually purchase the songs for you. It's actually bringing up results still, guys. It's even bringing up recent stuff. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll try and see if it previews a track. If I tap on the artwork, it might play it. There you go. I'll stop that for copyright reasons. But that still works. I think you can still purchase music on it directly. You'd have to try that. But you can also access your previously downloaded or purchased music through iTunes. So if there's music you bought on one of these devices years back, whether it was your iPod Touch or the iPhone, it will load all the artists and you can re-download them. I did do that on a couple tracks and it does have it. It just puts them into the music app, which we'll look at now. Go back into music. And the one feature for me was cover flow. This is a missed feature for me, cover flow. I think the first time I actually experienced this on, I think it was my mate's iPod Touch, actually, the first gen, which you can see back there. He had one of these, and I remember looking at this and doing this, and it was just like magic for me. I felt like it was like something out of a spaceship. Yeah, it really did. It really just struck a chord with a lot of people, this phone. Obviously, Steve Jobs, he really liked the rubber banding feature. He said that was such a cool, natural kind of scrolling feature that should be on the phone. I think that was the iPhone first generation that was even there. But I think the story was he was impressed with when they were developing this touchscreen interface and they got the rubber banding effect down to a T. He thought that was phenomenal. And really, it is quite phenomenal even for the time. I mean, this was 2009 for the 3GS and 2007 for the original iPhone. A couple of utilities there, calculator, passbook, which had your airport tickets, I don't think it was the wallet like we have now. It was kind of like tickets and reservations. It was kind of the start of the wallet app. It was passbook. Okay, let's go to the next screen. Now I've got some old apps I actually had on my iPod. iPod Touch, second gen, back in the day, because that's the only iPod Touch I had to begin with. I never had the first gen. I even have Flappy Bird on here still, and it plays. People are telling me I should be selling the phone on eBay for like thousands, but you can't because it's linked to your iTunes. So Flappy Bird's functioning and playing very smoothly as well. And obviously I'm terrible, so yeah, so I got 40. I mean, I don't think I'll ever get that again, but anyway, moving on. So that's Flappy Bird. We had Peggle. Again, this was amazing to play, killed a lot of time for me, killed a lot of boredom. It's quite quick to load actually, very loud. For the age of the phone, it really does perform quite well still, considering how old this technology is and some of the caliber of the games it was playing. It's quite remarkable. Yeah, so that's Peggle. The tap games, they were basically like Guitar Hero. You'd tap along with the notes that would come down. I'm not going to play them now because it take quite a while to load, but if you played them when you were younger, you'll obviously have fond memories of that. You could play 2-player on both sides of the iPhone or iPod. This is probably one of the first apps I had on my iPod. Essentially Fake Paint, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And Zippo Lighter, another classic app. There we go, and if you tilt, it would alter the flame. Such fond memories. So yeah, that's the iPhone 3GS, guys. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. For me, obviously I never owned one, so it's not so much nostalgic to see it. It's more of a joy to actually finally have one. As much as like there's been plenty more iPhones since then, I'm glad I actually got to own my own like original iPhone, or at least like older iPhone. But the 3GS for me is one I kind of wanted because it was in the price range. And I thought the 3G was okay, but the S kind of packed the speed for the apps, as App Store was kind of coming into its own then. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I mean, you guys in the comments, you tell me what apps you used to play, or what memories you had with your old iPhone, or anything on that caliber. If you have anything to talk about regarding to the older Apple products, let me know below. It's good to talk about it. You know, we're open here, we can talk about anything we like. And it's been a pleasure, guys. I'm glad you could join me on this small, I kind of guess, unboxing video in a way. I love the feel of unboxing Apple products. Again, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for bearing with me and my very like throaty voice. I'm still recovering from this god-awful flu. It's been like 3 weeks, so I probably do sound a bit coarse, and I'm probably waffling sometimes because my brain's not functioning. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. I will be doing one on the iPod Touch. It will be very similar to this, obviously, but still, it's always fun to look at. And thanks for sticking around. Have a good evening, guys, and take care. Bye bye.